Hello, welcome back. Gennaro Washington here, your lead instructor, and today we're going to be talking about cybersecurity metrics and KPIs. Now, one of the interesting things to note is when you're looking at the aspects of metrics and then your KPIs, this is a way to understand and really look at it from a growth perspective. Why I say that is because you're looking to understand how we can improve not only our cybersecurity posture, but the actual performance as well. Now, when you're looking to understand, again, the core concepts, it's going to help you understand how to make data-driven decisions because we have the actual data to back it up, right? We have the trend. So it's not necessarily just numbers that we're working here with. Think more holistic. Think more, we talked about heuristic before, behavioral. Think more in a fluid term. Because to understand metrics, we know that that's a data point. We know that that's like actual numbers, like this is how many detections we've had in the last 5 days or just now, right within the last minute. Or this is how many blocking phishing attempts that we just had as well. Versus a KPI, it's more so going to be aligned with a certain objective. We talked about business objectives, right? The business goals all the time. Well, now we're going to add an actual metric with that. So this could potentially be like our example, achieving a 90% reduction rate, right? And when it comes to like the actual threat response within that particular year. So it does matter, right? It does matter why to use a way to understand, are we really making our mark, right? Are we hitting the deadlines that we need to be hitting? There are different types, though, of metrics, right? Because you have your operational ones, you have your compliance, and your strategic. Again, think in terms of how we started out before when it comes to the business operations, and the goal ideally is we need to be monitoring daily, right, for activities, suspicious activities. And we can do that within multiple ways. We talked about all the tools. We can also look at it from a compliance perspective. And we talked about the regulatory bodies before, that governing body. We have to make sure that our standards are adherence to that as well. Now, an example, right? Because we've talked about the mean time to detect and the mean time to respond and the RPO, RTO. So think about just ways to reduce it. How can we reduce the detection time between the time, hey, we know that there's a breach, up until we have actually contained this breach as well. Now, some of the other ones, data breaches, you will see a lot of times is a way to track. One of the normal ones I would say to usually go for it is tracking your data breaches, like over time. How have we reduced the amount of data breaches we've had? And then the time to actually patch these vulnerabilities. How long is it going to take? I've scanned this system with Nessus. I see that there's 5 critical vulnerabilities. Between the time that we've noticed that it's a vulnerability to the time of patching. These are all effective ways to understand exactly where we're at versus where we're trying to go. And using our SMART goals that we know is a framework is going to help us focus in and aim for specific metrics that actually make sense and that are relevant to what we're trying to accomplish. So some of the key tools that we've used and we talked about them before, SIEM. You can use this to analyze logs. Your threat intel platforms. We're trying to monitor suspicious activity, get a better understanding of what's actually happening, and then report on that. So a finance company, they may use a SIEM tool to catch any different anomalies, right, that may be happening, such as failed login attempts. Now, in order for us to interpret the actual data, we're going to rely on the data-driven security mechanisms. What does that mean? Well, we're collecting metrics already. We're analyzing that data. We're identifying different patterns, and I spoke about earlier, where if your normal baseline of a network is 5 spikes every day, then that's your normal baseline. Now, pattern, that is a pattern, right? And it's the total opposite on the other side, where it's like, okay, well, that's an issue. That's an anomaly. We don't have 5 spikes during the day. So you kind of get what I'm saying here. It's about identifying different patterns and visualizing and having a way to, like a single pane of glass, like we talked about with our SIEMs and all the other dashboards, a way to actually, see what's happening. And then from there, you're going to make an accurate decision. Now, automation and AI is going to help in a sense where we're going to reduce that time that we need to enhance the accuracy that, hey, this is an actual vulnerability. This is an actual threat here. So it can help with predicting, really. Just predicting the actual threat and the offer of, hey, this is what we can do. We're proactive with it. We have an alert that says, hey, this is what's happening. This is what we do. We're tying it together. AI takes the questioning out of it. It reduces the human error. It's going to speed up detection as well, too. Now, some of the feedback is what we would be looking for as well. We talked about trends before. So really think about how we can analyze what is happening versus what we're trying to get. What I mean by that is analyze the gaps in the current processes that we have in place, right? Do we have protocols in place that we need? Are we missing anything? When we do have a breach, are we taking a little bit longer than we think we need to? Right? These are all ways that, hey, we can get feedback from reviewing these different logs and trends that we've seen so far over the few months or so. Now, using a KPI, this may say, hey, well, this is my goal. I want to reach this, okay, at this time. Reduce 90%, 50%. And along with that, well, what is the cost associated with it, right? Because if we're going to buy in or have that manager buy in, we have to have it make sense. Will it actually reduce the cost of a breach by proactively using monitoring tools? Yeah, I would say so, because you have a very strong return on your investment. And that's the kind of language you want to use. You want to use numbers and things like that when you're talking to one of the C-level executives. But how can we make data accessible with dashboards, right? A great way is that single pane of glass like I talked about. We want it simplified. You can use all the different tools like Power BI. Now, just as ways for us to, again, see what's happening. It's visualization. I can see the tables and the charts and the alerts. If I have my CM dashboard up, I know exactly what's happening in real time. I can see it. Now, evaluating incident response times. So think about having a retail company. They're going to set their MTTD goal for 10 minutes, right, for detecting an actual DDoS event. Well, the CM is going to be auto-logging and time-stepping, and then we just kind of go back and we review. That is what we do. We make sure, okay, this is exactly what happened. We tested it, or we had an actual breach, and we see we hit our metric. Again, it's been great. Gennaro here, CEO of CoreCheck Solutions, and today we just pretty much talked about cybersecurity metrics and KPIs.